Hello everyone, good morning, welcome back. This is Divya Kawatra, your educator. How are you all doing? Hi everyone, good morning, very good morning. Welcome back. So we meet again to discuss today's newspaper, that is 14th of August. And if you're joining for the first time, let me tell you that we meet every day from Monday to Saturday at 8:30 a.m. live to discuss newspaper, PIB analysis and question set. Alright, that is the structure of the class. Stay tuned till the end to know more about it. And on that note, we are going to begin with our today's session and our first news. Yes, are you all ready? Shall we start? All right. So the first news that we have is Dr. Padma Gurmet conferred UT Ladakh State Award 2025 for exemplary services to Sowa Rigpa Medicine Center. All right. Yeah, award has been given, award has been conferred. We are going to talk about that award. All right. Yeah. We'll talk about Dr. Gurmet's role and his contributions also. All right. The award recognizes Dr. Gurmet's significant contributions to preservation, promotion, and development of Sowa Rigpa system of medicine. In Ladakh, he has been working on the Sowa Rigpa, that is the name of an institution. Okay. That is the name of the institution that he was working at. And in that institution, they are working on medicine. And he has stabilized the system, created a strong system. How? Through preservation, promotion and development of Sowa Rigpa system of medicine. They have a system of medicine and they have been preserving it, they have been promoting it, they have been developing it, and under that role as the director of National Institute of Sowa Rigpa in Leh, he has been conferred the award, right? The award was given by the governor of Ladakh, Vinay Kumar Saxena, as you can say. He honored a total of 36 distinguished individuals at the ceremony. During this event, Lieutenant Governor emphasized that these awards aim to honor individuals whose dedication and excellence have positively impacted the society. They said that there is no such restriction over the award. It is just that you have an excellence through which you are contributing to the society in a good manner. That is it, right? For that, this can be done. Love from Ladakh. Nice. Yes, did you see the news then? Did you see the regional news that this was happening? Yes? Yeah. Tell us about Sowa Rigpa then. If you are from Ladakh, Kargil, please tell us something about Sowa Rigpa. What is special? What you know about it? Just share your insight, okay? Yeah, since you belong there, you must know a lot of other things that internet misses out. Tell us about that Sowa Rigpa. What is it and how it is and how does it work? What is good about it, what you like about it, anything. All right. Okay, so this was the news. Next is 7-judge bench to hear a case concerning legislative privileges from October 6. First of all, 7 judges bench. Usually for every topic we see that there is a 3-judge bench, right? Whenever a 7-judge bench is sitting, that means something is of importance. Yes. Something of a very grave matter is being discussed here, is being, out of a concern that we are sitting for this. Something is happening that is huge, right? Only then 7 judges bench comes. Now tell me, what is the highest number of judges bench that has, taken place till date? And what was the issue for which they sat? I gave you this homework earlier also, and I'm not sure if you have done that, but for now, tell me, what is the highest bench that has sat till date and for what issue? To discuss what? Okay, tell me that, and now we'll talk about this 7-judge bench that is sitting here to hear the case concerning legislative privileges. We'll talk about legislative privileges also. Okay, what is the core issue here? Supreme Court has set to decide whether legislative privileges that are granted to lawmakers, right? The lawmakers, that means the parliament. Parliament has some legislative privileges, right? They are saying that we want to check whether these privileges under Article 194 of the Constitution can override a citizen's fundamental right to free speech under Article 19 and personal liberty under Article 21. Right? Whether your privileges stand above the rights of the people, because there is no strict connection between that and no explicit mention in the constitution also. So the bench will sit, they will discuss regarding legislative privileges, and they will see how we can address them, how we can preserve them, and how we can balance them with people's right. Okay. 13 for Keshwanand Bharti. Is there any other case for which a 13-judge bench sat? Is there any other instance where a 13-judge bench sat in India? Soa Rigpa is known as Amchi system of medicine. Okay. How does it work? Love from Karnataka. Okay, so we have variety of students today. I like that. Yes, we are uniting India here. And coincidentally, on an occasion soon to be arriving, that is 15th of August, Independence Day. Yeah. All right. So now let's understand that how privileges work, what is the background of this case, and why are we questioning the privileges. The incident happened on April to November 2003. The Hindu published an editorial saying Rising Intolerance. The name of the editorial was Rising Intolerance. Okay. It was critical of the then Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jayalalitha. The article was in criticism of the leader at the time who was ruling at the time. And do you think we can do that? Do you think we can criticize? And if we cannot criticize, is it really a democracy? That is also a question. So assembly warrants were issued. Tamil Nadu Assembly Speaker, claiming the article distorted House proceedings and breached legislative privilege under Article 194, said that we are passing a resolution to order arrest of 5 senior journalists, executives of The Hindu, including then editor N. Ravi. Right? This was an order issued by the assembly saying that we would want to do this. Okay. All right. So now they said that we want to arrest them and we want to put a case on them. Why? Because they have breached the legislative privileges that are provided under the constitution and disrupted our assembly functions. Right? Okay, that was the case. So Supreme Court intervention came. The Hindu challenged the resolution, arguing that legislative privilege cannot be used to choke press freedom, obviously. Right? Supreme Court granted a stay on the arrest warrant for them. Supreme Court said, okay, we will not be arresting for now, but we do need to resolve the matter. Right? So to resolve the matter, the legal precedent that was set at the time was when the matter reached the court, judges noted conflicting past judgment. They said that past judgments are also conflicting, so we don't have anything set in stone yet. How so? They said that in Pandit M.S.M. Sharma versus Sri Krishna Sharma case, okay, 1958, Pandit M.S.M. Sharma and Sri Krishna Sharma case, this indicated that legislative privilege could prevail over free speech. In this case, court had already said that legislative privileges can prevail over free speech, right? So court said that, look at it. But then the opposition said, okay, wait, we have another case. In presidential reference of 1964 Keshav Singh case, there they clarified that while free speech under Article 19 doesn't restrict privilege, legislative powers to arrest remain subject to Article 21. That means they have to consider rights before exercising power. That means the rights are given superior position. So both the judgments are now conflicting. Do you see the conflict here? Can you observe the conflict here? Tell me. Privileges that you cannot say anything against them, you cannot demean them, you cannot talk negative about them, you cannot disrupt the functions, all those privileges. The parliamentary privileges that you read, right? You must have read a chapter, parliamentary privileges. Action cannot be taken against their speech in the discussion, like in parliament, if they are discussing something and they come up with an opinion, you cannot raise a case against that. All those are parliamentary privileges, right? So they decided that, okay, this can be done, and in another case they said that this cannot be done. So due to this contradictory position, case was referred to a 5-judge bench in 2003. Okay, so which then was referred to a 7-judge bench in December 2004, because nobody was able to decide what to do in this case for an authoritative final determination. Now what is the current status? 3-judge order on August 12, 2026, bench led by Chief Justice of India Surya Kant directed that long pending constitutional reference will be heard by 7-judge bench on October 6, 2026. And on that day, it will finally be decided what to do of this conflict and how to come to a conclusion, right? Yeah. So where legislative powers end and constitutional right to press freedom begins, we have to draw a line between that so that we don't keep curbing rights of the people just to give legislative privileges to our leaders, right? Try to imprison an individual for contempt of the house and the judiciary comes to the picture. Exactly. Clear now? Do you understand the case? Just look out for it. We'll discuss it again on October 6 if the reading happens then. If it is shifted, then maybe on another date. But for now, we will wait for October 6 to come and the final decision to come. Then we will discuss this topic again. For now, you are aware of the issue. And you tell me, in your opinion, what should be the answer to this? As an administrator, what would you do? What would you prefer to be done? Whether legislative privileges should prevail or the rights should prevail. Okay, I'll wait for your answers, and on that note, I'll also move to the next article, that is Nepal cancels conference on Tibetan studies amid China pressure debate. So, Nepal was organizing a conference. Okay, what happened? Just understand the case. The conference was about to be attended by across Nepal and across the world about 700 scholars. That is not a small thing. About 700 esteemed scholars from the world were about to gather to actually discuss a lot of important matters. 700 eminent scholars coming from the world, just imagine. But then China raised a debate, and because of that debate, because of that pressure, maybe, or for whatever reason Nepal felt it right, Nepal cancelled the conference. Okay. Yeah. Nepal cancelled the conference. Now everybody is like, has Nepal completely surrendered to China? Are they not going to retaliate against China at any step? Are they not going to go against China no matter what? Are they really bound to China in such a manner that they cannot even hold a conference in their nation without China's permission? And if that is the case, what does it mean for India, who has been using Nepal as a buffer? What will happen there? Does that mean one more border of ours has been completely adhered to China? Right? These questions arise that raise concern, more importantly for the sovereignty of Nepal, as to whether they are even sovereign now or have they completely surrendered to China. Clear? So these are the concerns that critics are raising after this incident where Nepal decided to cancel the conference. Okay, let's know a little bit more about it. So what was the event first of all? Conference was organized by International Association for Tibetan Studies alongside Himalayan Center for Asian Studies at Kathmandu University and Rangjung Yeshe Institute, right? Over 700 scholars from 39 countries, including academics from both China, mainland China and US were registered. They were also coming. They were about to attend across 70 panel sessions covering Tibetan language, history, culture, philosophy. It had been in works for nearly 4 years. We were preparing, Nepal was actually preparing for this since past 4 years. How many? 700 scholars from 39 countries, including US and China. They were about to come and this was about to happen. The efforts of 4 years were finally about to give its fruits, and now the conference stands cancelled. So this raises concerns, obviously. Right. Cancellation trigger is there. Chinese diplomatic pressure. Why? Chinese ambassador to Nepal, Zhang Maoming, met with Nepal's foreign secretary, that is Amrit Bahadur Rai. Beijing raised concerns that event could be used as a platform for anti-China statements while China is still a part of it. Even Chinese delegates were coming, even Chinese scholars were coming. Still they feel like the platform can be used for anti-China sentiments. This is about Tibet. This is about the history of Tibet. The conference is about culture of Tibet, to know Tibet more, to know the area more, and yet they think that this is hurting the sovereignty of China. Right? Somehow they make it about themselves and they say that discussions surrounding Tibet and succession reincarnation of Dalai Lama. Okay. What was Nepal's direct mandate following the high-level discussions? Nepal's Chief Secretary Govind Bahadur Kharki instructed that Kathmandu University should call off this event. Okay, decision obviously bypassed Nepal security agencies. They did not even ask anybody, they did not even confer anybody whether this event can actually lead to these structures or not. They didn't even discuss. They just thought that okay, if China is saying this can happen, it might happen. So let's call it off. That's strange, right? So which had the entire security system, they had thoroughly assessed the entire structure, motive, all the parameters that were running, and they said that we have not found anything in the topic list, anything in the agenda, anything in the entire event that might find the grounds for cancellation. There is nothing there, right? So that makes us think that this obviously reversed public assurances also that the conference would proceed, so public is also not happy. And then the broader geopolitical implication, if we talk about the sovereignty versus alignment. Why? Because critics and political analysts are clearly pointing out that decision highlights Nepal's delicate balancing act between two massive neighbors, that is India and China. Under one China policy, Nepal prohibits political demonstrations by Tibetan refugees on its soil. But extending this prohibition to academic seminar obviously raises self-censorship concerns, academic freedom of Nepal, Nepal's autonomous decision making. All of these things come to question because we are not sure whether Nepal is making decisions on its own or is Nepal just looking at China and waiting for a nod or a nay, right? Exactly. What nonsense if China is saying, then it might be happened. Exactly, it is nonsense. What about Nepal and their sovereignty? China doesn't want to lose a single game and their mindset of diplomacy. But that is not diplomacy, that is just control. You understand? Diplomacy is where you are, convince the other person. You're not convincing, you're just giving an order. The other person is obeying like a servant. That is the problem. Diplomacy is not a problem. We are also playing diplomacy with Nepal. But this is clearly an order that is bypassing their security systems also. Nepal didn't even consider to cross-check with their security system whether this can be true. That is where the problem lies. Like you're blindly believing what they said and you're just changing the patterns of your events accordingly. Right? Every nation wants to create monopoly. There is nothing wrong with that. But this kind of monopoly that is not leaving anybody a sovereign state, how does that matter? That is like neo-colonialization. Can we say we are moving towards colonialization? Yes. This is another modern form of colonialization where through power, where through indirect influence, you are impacting every single decision of that nation. Not good. Right. So what is the fallout here? Organizers have expressed deep disappointment, labeling that cancellation obviously is an unwarranted interference in purely academic work. This was academic. Academic scholars were coming. What did China have to fear if they've not done anything wrong? Gen Z protest got wasted. You see, it is not about Gen Z. If you don't have a righteous cause, obviously this is going to fail. It will fail in India as well. Nepal's reputation and economic standing is obviously at concern here. So conference is still informed to be cancelled, but then again, let's see what happens. They are saying that conference can move to online format. So now all the delegates will be coming forward. They will have an online meeting rather than being present in Nepal. That's it. Right? Yeah. That is the concern here. That is the article. Moving on to the next article. I hope this was clear. Do we understand the conference situation, the impacts of it, geopolitical implications? What does it signify? Right? Do we understand all that? Yeah. All right. So next article is constitutional limits on arrest. We've just discussed this in different form. This is a very insightful article, so I wanted to discuss this with you again. Right, we just discussed regarding the arrest and everything, privileges, legislative privileges, and against the arrest. So now we have a little bit more to it. Like, what are the constitutional limits to arrest? Like, you can arrest people, you can have preventive detention also, but then there has to be a limit, right? So for that, right to be informed of the grounds for arrest is first thing, that there is the limit to arrest. Why? Because recent precedent, Vihan Kumar versus State of Haryana in 2025, Supreme Court reaffirmed that any arrested person must be directly and meaningfully informed of the reason of their arrest. Nobody can be arrested like, okay, we want to arrest you. Why? Just like that. Doesn't work, right? You have to tell them in a meaningful way, more importantly, in a meaningful way that they understand also. It's not like you just talk gibberish and then you say that, oh, we told them, they didn't understand, that's not our fault. No. You have to talk it meaningfully so that they understand as well. You have to make sure that they understand why they are being arrested. Okay. Yeah. So first thing is giving them the reason why they are being arrested. The second thing is informing relatives isn't enough. Merely informing an arrested person's relatives or keeping vague internal records is not going to satisfy constitutional mandates. You must, individual must be told directly in a manner they can understand, and then they should be allowed to give a call to anybody who they believe should be attending to this situation. It's not like you give a call to their relatives and say that, okay, we have informed your relatives. If they come or not, it is up to you. We cannot do that. Okay, do we understand that now? Yeah. Constitutional and statutory basis for this failure to do so violates Article 22, 1 of the Constitution, Section 50 of CRPC, Section 47 of Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, and Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita, of 2023. So these are the violations that are conferred if you are not informing the grounds for arrest. Secondly, there are mandatory safeguards and unlawful remand also. Why? Because mandatory record of arrest should be there. The arrest memo must clearly state the exact time of arrest. 24-hour rule, because Article 22 clearly says that arrested person should be produced before the court. Can you tell me the writ associated with this? Which writ talks about producing the person before the magistrate, before the judiciary? Which writ talks about it, that you have to produce some people within 24 hours before the magistrate, and if this right is violated, which writ can you follow? Tell me the name of that writ quickly. And say, next is fruit of the poisonous tree. If the initial arrest is illegal or unconstitutional, any subsequent remand orders that are passed by a magistrate will also be illegal, obviously, because they are based on fake data. Fake data was already created. So if you are even giving them bail, that will also be illegal because the matter itself started in an illegal manner. Mandamus, habeas corpus. It is habeas corpus. What is mandamus? What does mandamus mean? Tell me quickly. All right. Dignity in the custody. The court condemned degrading treatment in the custody also, reiterating the fundamental rights of Article 21, right to life. You cannot keep beating them, court came up with the judgment saying that whatever they say in police custody, that will not be considered as a evidence, right? Why? Because police beats you so much that you want to accept, even if you have not done it, you want to say yes just because you want them to stop, right? Just because you want them to stop. Exactly. So they're saying that if you do this, you are harming Article 21. All right. That is the power. Next is arrest versus detention guidelines and misuse. Arrest versus detention is temporary hold for investigation without formal charges. Arrest is formal custody based on a probable case. Like you have a probable case, the person is somehow associated with that case and you make an arrest. Detention is for a probable cause. You don't need that. There has to be no probable cause. You just need to investigate without any formal charges for something that might happen, right? That is detention. So now routine arrest prohibition, what is that? Arrest should be an exception, not a routine action. Like you should not just pick them up anytime. It should be done for offences punishable by less than 7 years. There you should be very careful about it. And just because police has the power to arrest doesn't mean they must use it all the time, right? It has been very clearly stated that it doesn't mean they should be using it all the time. Necessity of arrest should be explicitly justified, like why did you have to arrest? Why couldn't you directly lead it to the case? Right? It is an official court order sent to a lower court government. Yes, exactly. Very nice. If they refuse or fail to do the legal duty. Good. Very nice. Alright, so then there is the golden triangle of Indian Constitution. Article places these safeguards also. What kind of this? Golden triangle, that is Article 14, 19 and 21. These are established in the landmark case of Menka Gandhi versus Union of India, where Article 14 ensures protection against arbitrariness. Article 19 gives you basic freedom. Yes, we know Article 19, and then Article 21 protecting personal liberty. So any arbitrary arrest or detention that breaches the golden triangle, undermining the delicate balance between state authority and individual liberty. So naturally you are playing with fire if you are violating any of these articles, because then no matter what the culprit has done, you will be the one suffering for it if you burn this golden triangle, right? Exactly. Is that clear? Do we understand that? All right, very nice. Moving on to next article then. Next article we have is Europe's AI rules may become India's opportunity. How so? Europe has given new AI rules and we are thinking that they might be an opportunity for India. How so? We'll find that out. Okay. All right. First of all, what EU AI Act is? It is world's first comprehensive AI regulation framework any country that has done based on risk-based approach. They have made a proper act regarding the utilization of AI, inculcation of AI, and how dangerous it can be, how it can be risk-based approach, right? And for that, the system is classified into unacceptable risk, where everything is prohibited, high risk, where there is strict compliance, limited risk, where transparency obligations are there, that you have to keep it transparent because there is a risk. We will keep monitoring it. And minimal risk, it is largely unregulated. Okay, let it flow however it goes. Let people use it however they want to, right? So they want to focus on safety, transparency, accountability all together while creating an AI framework, because they want to make it human oversight as well. They want to make it with human oversight. Clear? That is what they have done, and this is what EU AI Act stands for. Now that raises a question, what does India have to do with it? Why does it matter to Indian companies? Because Indian IT AI firms supplying services to EU market can come under the act now, right? And because of that act, they would want to make compliance, right? If they are compliant with the rules of this act, only then they would be allowed to function. For now, the compliance would be risk assessment, technical documentation, data governance, testing and validation, human oversight, monitoring after deployment. All this will be done for Indian companies as well. The major challenge here is AI systems are frequently modified after deployment. So they keep modifying. A substantial modification can potentially trigger fresh compliance assessment also. So it is a challenge also, but then at the same time, it is going to improve our company's functionings on a great level, and through that we'll be able to learn a lot how to work that in India as well, right? It is a learning opportunity for India. Do we understand that? Yeah. Next is the big problem for India. What is the problem? Traditional software outsourcing for India. EU compliance assumes relatively defined products. Indian firms can face higher compliance cost, legal uncertainty, liability risk, operational complexity, documentation burden can also come. So they will have to face all these challenges, but once they overcome this hurdle, it will be a huge opportunity for learning how to adapt AI into the system, right? This will be a very beautiful case study for us to learn from that, to learn from their mistakes and do it better in India. Yes, and obviously they'll be getting a lot of training for that as well, right? Yeah, but this creates new industry for India also. India can develop compliance as a service ecosystem. This compliance will be as a service ecosystem. AI conformity assessment is there, AI auditing is there, AI testing and validation, all this will be learned. So India's large IT plus legal plus audit plus consulting talent pool, everybody will get its advantage, right? Exactly. So India can become an AI compliance hub through that, because service sector is anyway our Achilles heel, right? We have a great service sector and we have been great at providing that, and this comes as a new opportunity once we face these challenges and learn from this, right? Do we understand that? So India can become a compliance hub, AI product, EU compliance, testing, certification, and then ultimately we'll get the market access, and for everybody will be working as a compliant. Clear? Yes. Then India-EU FTA strategic opportunity also. Why? Because India-EU FTA can complement this opportunity by regulatory cooperation, recognition, easier professional service trade, mutual recognition mechanisms also. So they can support each other, because long-term possibility is that India could become a recognized third country AI conformity assessment ecosystem, right? Because they need a third party for this, and India can be that third party, right? Exactly. What is the strategic significance? This will move from IT service provider to regulatory technology provider. Right now we are IT service provider. You know that, right? In service sector, the major part of our service sector is IT service provider. Right? Yeah. So regulatory technology provider we can become, because that gives us high skilled employment for lawyers, policy professionals, engineers, auditors, everyone can be included here, giving Indian firms new exportable professional service. Until now, there was only technical service that we were giving. Now it will include auditors, it will include lawyers, everybody can be a part of it, right? That is the beauty of it, how we will expand our base of professions. It will give Indian firms a new exportable professional service also, will strengthen India's position in global AI governance, and can make compliance itself for competitive advantage also, right? Yeah. Then what are the challenges for India per se? Like, what challenges is India facing? We have discussed challenges. What challenges are there? EU risk models also. Yes, exactly. And we have lack of mature AI auditing standards for now. We don't have that working very well. And the need for internationally recognized accreditation is also there. High cost of building testing infrastructure is also there. So all of these challenges we have to overcome. But if you work around this, we will be able to learn a lot through this. All right. Why is it not moving? Okay, I wanted to zoom it, but I think there is some problem with this. Okay, so we have comparison as to how EU's approach can become India's opportunity. Right, EU's approach is risk-based regulation. We make it risk assessment expertise. Their approach is mandatory compliance for high risk AI. We become AI audit and certification structures. Technical documentation, we give documentation services. For regulatory cooperation, that every country has to do on their own, right? Then EU approach is human oversight, AI governance consulting can be given by India. Conformity assessment, testing and certification can be done by India. Post-market monitoring, AI monitoring services can be given by India. And India-EU standard cooperation can be strengthened using that. Okay, that will be our benefit from this. Clear? Service sector is the largest pillar of India's economy. Exactly. Ma'am, ज़्यादा ना करना पड़े इसलिए छोटा कर दिया marks को और साफ. So I would have had to go all the way across the board, no? Smart work, beta, smart work. That's what you should also learn, right? मेहनत तो गधे भी करते हैं, right? We should be working smart because we have intelligence. Chalo, this was not something to gloat about, but anyways, this is the article that you have to read, Transparency as the Foundation of Trust in Medicine. Very simple article. I didn't want to discuss this because medicine we've discussed multiple times. And as for the article, it doesn't even have that much of technicality to it. Very simple article. You can read it on your own. Okay. All right, so before we start with our questions, let me remind you we have our freedom sale up to 50% off going on across various sectors like UPSC, teaching, SSC, CUET, all of that on online live courses from 11th to 16th August. And for ISGS foundation course especially, we have flat 50% off, reducing the price to 55,000, right? Yeah. So that will give you all the structured classes, notes, books, AI powered learning also, prelims test series, current affairs magazines, all of that at just such a discounted price. All right. Okay, that also includes mains courses and optional courses as well. And to avail that, you can go to Drishti IAS website or Drishti IAS learning app and avail those discounts across various segments individually as well. Okay. Just go there, check it out, but don't miss the date, 11th to 16th August. That's it. These are the dates for your discounts. All right. Okay. And if you face any problem, give us a call on 87501 and kal class nahi hogi. 15th August is a national holiday. You do know that, right? So kal class nahi hogi. Parso to Sunday hai, obviously nahi hogi. So we'll meet directly on Monday. Okay. हाँ, तो जो कल का पेपर होगा उसका I'll try to cover it up on Monday. ठीक है? Monday को हम try करेंगे कि उसको cover up कर दें. ठीक है? All right. Moving forward to practice questions. Let's go. Number 1. Donkeys to smartest coins में आते. Agriculture sector is the backbone of economy. 2 दिन की छुट्टी मिल गई. Yes, छुट्टी मिल गया. Okay, छुट्टी is male or female? Because we say छुट्टी मिल गई. You say छुट्टी मिल गया. Okay. This is such a confusion across India. Things change. There's gender after every state's boundary. All right, C, B. The answer C, both 1 and 2 are correct. No explanation required. Question second. Okay. The answer is C, both 1 and 2. Very nice. Next question. Answer the next question. All right, the answer is C. Both 1 and 2 are correct in this also. Next question. All right, the answer is B, 1 and 3. Second is incorrect because JPC consists of members from both houses. How many members? Tell me quickly. How many from Lok Sabha and how many from Rajya Sabha? Give me an answer to that. All right, on that note, once again, a reminder of the Freedom Sale up to 50% off 11 to 16th August. Don't miss out. If you face any problem, give us a call on 87501 87501. All right. Okay, that is our mains question for the day. Take a screenshot. 31 total, 21 from Lok Sabha, 10 from Rajya Sabha. Very nice, very nice. Good. Take a screenshot here. All right, that's about it. That was our paper for the day. Thank you so much for joining in. We'll see you tomorrow. No, we'll see you on Monday. Okay, at 8:30 a.m. All right, till then, keep studying, keep revising, and have some fun. And I hope you enjoyed the class. If you did enjoy, do hit the like button. Keep sharing it with your fellow students as well. All right. Okay, we'll see you on Monday. Till then, keep studying. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.